crikey. Here we go again. Okay. Are you wondering what I'm up to? Well, I've decided to save gas and I thought I'd just light a fire under me drum. So we're going to light a fire and then we're going to make ourselves a frame cleaner-upper machine. Well, it's not really going to be a machine, it's just going to be a drum. But anyway, this is one way to use up a bit of this wood that I can't be bothered cutting up. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Hopefully we can light a fire. I'll just go and see if I can find some more paper. Or maybe a drum of petrol. Ta-da! Anyway, we'll just screw up a bit of paper here. I had a heap of paper in the back of my ute, but it rained the other day, so it's all jolly soggy. So now I've had to rescue some reserve paper. Looks like it's been used as mouse nest. Boy Scouts 101. When I was a Boy Scout, well, actually I didn't even get to Boy Scouts, I didn't even get past Cubs. And we had a fire lighting night, and a Cub teacher, he was there, we'd done the whole north, south, east and west stupid game, whatever that was called. But anyway, we were playing the game in the hall and then it got later in the evening and we had to go out and light the fire. Anyway, we were all right around and we had the bloody little bits of wood and all the rest of the nonsense, and I lit my fire up and had it all burning and everybody else was still getting organised. But I got told off because apparently I didn't do it as the book said. I said I had a fire, did it really matter? And apparently it does. So, you know, even if you can light a fire at Cubs, you don't necessarily pass. So there's something to remember. Anyway, there's a Boy Scout fire. Would have got bloody in all sorts of trouble for that. What I kid? Hey! Golly gosh, lad. That's one way to clean up the yard, I guess, have a fire. At least this was a practical fire. Well, hopefully it's a practical fire. We're going to find out in a minute. Might be a completely stupid idea. My mate Les says it's a good idea to make a fire under a drum to get the water hot and clean the frames. This is what we're trying to achieve. While we let this get started and hopefully we don't burn the environment completely, we're going to go and get ourselves a drum and cut its head off, and just hopefully we don't blow ourselves to kingdom come, because it's an old fuel drum. I'm just hoping it's not going to be a radiator thing, otherwise my daughter won't talk to me. She said I'm not allowed to do anything stupid for 3 months, and I think we're only about a month in, so... Well, this is the idea. I thought we could cut up this nice old thick drum. That ought to be nice. Well, actually it might not be real flash at all. It's got a bloody hole in the bottom. Oh, damn it! Still smells a bit like petrol. Oh, shit! Oh well, we'll try one of these other ones. We'll just rinse it out and see if it holds water before we do anything. How's that for a plan? We'll just go and get ourselves some bricks. I reckon these ones will work. We'll just stick it on. They'll be up out, have the heat underneath it. You reckon? I don't know. Anyway, we can always change it if it doesn't work, can't we? Oh, I'm sure the cheer squad's on our team regardless. Come on, Bush Bee man, you can do it. Oh, golly. Oh. I think this one's full too. Oh, golly. We'll try and see if we can find something else. Oh, God. I suppose if the film crew was really committed, he could keep his finger on it so it didn't leak, couldn't he? Anyway, we'll have a nice pile of coals by the time we get organised, won't we? Maybe. Or we'll have nothing, one of the two. Typical, isn't it? Typical, typical. really suck if we drive all the way back home and put some water in and it still leaks, isn't it? I think it's got a bit of, I think it's still got a bit of oil in it, so it should be alright. Oh man, just wondering what's in that shed. There might be one in there too. Oh well, anyway, that one will be working too. Hop, hop. I don't know, I think this one's a bit better than that one. Oh, heck, okay, here we go. Let's just, hopefully this drum will be a bit more effective. We'll whiz her over here and we'll just, I reckon we'll just slap its head off. Since we have to cut this one anyway, we'll just chop it through there and we'll slap her on the fire. Now just as a footnote, folks, if that was a petrol drum, bad idea. Don't do that if it's a petrol drum. This is an old oil drum. Petrol drums are better because they're thicker, but if you haven't got them cleaned out and you go cut them up with an angle grinder, you'll end up in hospital. It's really going to suck if this still leaks after all this excitement. So I think we'll put it back up on our bricks and do our little test, see whether it leaks or not. Oh, that's looking more promising. Okay, well I reckon we'll just wipe the edge off a bit. Looks like there's a change coming. There's a change in the wind. Oh, what was that song? The Winds of Change or something? Is that a song? Did anybody measure that the frames were actually going to go in this pot? That would have been a good idea, wouldn't it? God. Yeah. Look at that. There we go. Well, that I'm still alive. There was some excitement that oil and water don't mix. So this is how you make a bush B-man hot water service, or a tank full of boiling water. Well, here we are the next morning, jolly raining all night, which is something good for the Riverland. It doesn't rain here too much. So we had to try and light a fire with wet wood. We spared you all of that. We thought, well, I don't know, there's only so much little music you can put up with. So we've been stoking the fire, getting ourselves organised. I'm just having a look in this drum. I reckon we might scoop a bit of stuff off the top before we chuck our first frame in. Well, I guess tidying up isn't my strong point. I found the wife of the spaghetti strainer that I was talking about a while back. Oh, well, anyway, that'll be ideal to scoop this up. We might be able to give it back to her if we can get it clean. Oh, it's getting clean already. Look at that. I think our water's starting to boil here. I was talking to an older beekeeper who's been doing this all his life, and he was telling me that he had a mate that used to come around and get the wax moth maggots to put on his hook to go fishing with. So if you get really bored and your whole bee project goes to shit, you could just put a sign out the front, fish bait, and you could just sell the wax moth worms. I don't know, but it'd be pretty grim if that's the case. Anyway, that's what we're trying to avoid. We're going to try and clean up these frames, so as when we give them back to our girls in the spring, there won't be any eggs and they'll be all nice and clean. I just kicked my fire back under the bricks. Oh, well, we'll give it a try and see whether it's warm enough, I guess. We'll just start with one. Oh, this could be a slow process. You might not get home for lunch yet, lad. Oh, look at that though. That looks pretty good. I'd be happy with that. Just wondering whether it's hot enough to kill those larvae that are sitting in here. Where's my screwdriver? A patented testing bit of equipment. So I wonder if that's going to... Yeah, well, it hasn't done them a lot of good, so that's good. Anyway, a bit of heat should ought to kill their eggs, I'd reckon. That looks pretty clean to me. Not that that frame's in the best of condition, but it's not too terrible. What do you reckon? Shall we try 3? Ka-dunk. This is how this goes, isn't it? You get all adventurous and you start getting more and more enthusiastic. I don't think my patent poking stick's quite right. So what's for lunch, darling? Oh, I don't know. Let's have some bee frame soup. What do you reckon? Ooh, yum. That'll be lovely. Put that in a bowl and see how you get on. we'll go back around for that one. That one's a bit older.
Bit like you.
Yeah. Come on. Nearly past the use by date. I don't think my hooks are purposely designed for this project, but anyway. Dipping. I wonder if we put the whole box in there. I wonder what that would do. Shall we do that as well? What the hell? We'll try one and see if it falls apart. These are the 8-frame boxes that we're going to turn into those nice shop stands. That should be cool. That'd be one way to use them up, won't it? You know, I'd kill those little stinkers in there. I think that frame's in all sorts of trouble anyway, but still. Oh, that's quite hot. They look cleaner to me. Shall we dip the whole box in and see what happens? What do you reckon? What the hell? Oh! Well, I'll just turn it over since it fitted in the box. Oh! I don't know whether this is the recommended dose, but anyway. Certainly won't do the glue any good. Ooh! Hot toddy! It definitely stirs the worms up anyway. Now this is the moment when the bush bee man does something probably not recommended. I was just thinking, why don't we just dunk the whole box instead of one frame at a time? So what do you reckon? Shall we just stick the whole thing in there? Hell, what's the worst thing that can happen? We could lose 8 frames in a box, I reckon. See now, I reckon when we do the next model, we won't cut it down so low and we could just dunk the whole box straight in like that, and that'll be all done in one go. Of course, everyone's an expert when you come up with a different idea, aren't they? The lad said, well, you shouldn't have cut it off so far, Dad. It's like, but I wasn't actually planning on being that rough. Oh, I don't think it's quite acceptable anyway. I think for the purpose of the exercise, we still might do them individually so they can get a bit more whoosh. A bit more whoosh. How does that song go? We're just singing in the rain, singing in the rain. Anyway, you wouldn't believe the commitment we've got for this show. Fuck bloody, well, it's just started to slow down a little bit so we can film the end. I'm hoping you get the general idea that we're just going to wash up these frames and perhaps pick a day when it's not raining. I reckon, I don't know too much, but I reckon that's been reasonably successful except for the fact that I'm soaking jolly wet. I have a sneaking suspicion that we're not having spaghetti for tea anymore. Oh, sorry, honey. I did have it clean. I was going to bring it back, but this here muck doesn't come off at all. We're trying to clean the frames. The original idea was just to get rid of the blooming wax moth eggs and the old muck so they're all cleaned up. And I think, apart from the fact that I'm soaking wet, it's been a rather successful event. So maybe get yourself set up in the backyard and have yourself a bit of a cook-up. Look at that, even if you're a famous internet star, you've still got to bring the bin in. It's just not fair, is it? Anyway, after all the excitement of building fish tanks and sticking them on the veranda and all the rest of it, we thought we'd better get and do some proper beekeeping preparation for spring. So we just got some stuff here on the trailer that we're trying to clean up. Just going to give it a bit of a blow over and then it's got to get a fresh coat of paint. So let's go over here and get started and see what we can make a mess at. So we've got ourselves a little flamethrower and I thought we'll we got these old boxes. I'm helping Les clean up for his few bees that he's got that we're giving him a bit of a hand with. Remember old Les? He's a bloke with a truck. Now don't hold the truck against him because that's not the point. So we're back doing actual beekeeping equipment preparation for spring because the sun's out. Almost. And it's not hopefully we'll have a spring this year and not like last year. There was one little tiny weed that went, and his little flower went, and that was it. And the whole bloody thing was over. So we got about as much nectar flow to fill on in a teaspoon. Anyway, right, here we go. So we've got some of Les's old bee boxes. There we go. Poor old boxes that have been sitting in Les's shed for I don't know how long, but anyway, they've been in there for a while. And I thought, being that we're helping out the old bloke, we better clean them up. And he said, you want to get your flame, you know, give them a bit of a flame out, get them ready before you paint them over. I don't know if you remember our little flame throwing thing. I don't know what episode that was in, but it's terribly laborious. It just took so long with my little flames. I might have had a cigarette lighter. And I even tried being stupid. I even tried this. It was a little bit trying to be economical. And it obviously didn't work because you're not going to see it, but I got myself a little misting bottle and I filled that full of metho and Kero, I think it was, the mixture. I tried petrol, but that was awful dangerous. Anyway, and I sprayed that inside the box, and then I threw a match in there and it went poof. But it kind of burnt, but it didn't really achieve too much of the cleaning corners. And anyway, needless to say, it was unsuccessful. So don't bother with that idea. This is the go. So here we go. This is what I've discovered on this journey of cleaning bee boxes in the coldness of the day. In this journey of winter bloomin' cleaning up business. God, I'm just looking at my cleaning up shed that we've got to do later on. But anyway, on with the job. So we're trying to get boxes ready for the spring, which hopefully we have a good spring this year. Because I've got a whole heap of new boxes in there from last spring that didn't get used. Oh, come on, Mr. Muscles. Oh, God. I just don't know which way the silly bloody thing's meant to thread. It's meant to go backwards, isn't it? Which I thought was that way. Maybe it's not that way. Maybe it's this way. Ah, stop it, all you gas people out there that are laughing at me. Oh, got it now. Just because you're watching, that's what it is. I don't know. Anyway, back to the montage. Looks a little like the bloody lunar landing, doesn't it? Woohoo! Off to the moon we go! Me. Anyway, this is a bit more of a serious blowtorch. I got sick of that other little one. It took forever, so I thought I'll go down the shop and get myself a decent one. And the lad said, oh, this is a weed burner or a tar melter or something. And I thought, hell, okay, that sounds like fun. He reckons it might take your hair off if you point it in the wrong direction. So if you see a shot of the cameraman on Facebook and he hasn't got any hair, he's got in the wrong spot. Let's clean some shit. I think we're cheating with this thing. That ought to kill a few bugs, you reckon? Killed the paint anyway. Whoa, we're on fire. Note to self, it could actually burst into flames. I just wondered, maybe we should have got a bucket of water in case it all goes to shit, but hell, hope Les isn't watching us. Whoa, look out. And we just take this base off. Oh. I think we'll just do the top to do the actual super box while we're at it. I reckon the missus would get excited if I took this inside to clean up the spider webs, wouldn't she? Goodness gracious. Look out for the curtains. I think that's pretty hot. I don't know, man. Golly gosh. If we... Maybe that's a little bit exciting. Anyway, it definitely speeds the job up. So I don't know if you can see the wax is actually just weeping out of the wood, which is kind of cool. And to be absolutely honest with you, I'm not 100% how super duper clean you're meant to make the jolly things, but I figure it's got to be reasonably better than when we started. That's the main thing. So anyway, so we've actually got something that we can put a paintbrush to make shit look like it's respectable. We just do that lid, light ourselves back up again, get that lid organised. Maybe we'll just go through doing one box and then, like, we've got heaps and heaps to do, so I don't know. We'll have a discussion whether we put on that music or whether we just do one. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that, Mum. I've still got all my fingers. How good's that? That's a little bit more efficient than my other little blooming burner. You just got to make sure that the shit doesn't actually catch on fire too badly. Come back and all you'll have is a big pile of ash. That'd be a bit pointless, wouldn't it? Anyway. So, I think the next part of the project is we've got to slap a bit of blooming undercoat on these little supers and these few boxes. But before we do that, we might have to clean a spot because there's been great concern about the fact that my workbench is a bit dirty. And I thought, well, I've got a hefty young cameraman here. He can help me clean up. What do you reckon, folks? So let's go and get that shit organised. Well, that looks a bit better. We haven't obviously tidied up the shed, but anyway, that might happen another day. We're running out of time. This all takes longer than you think. No wonder I don't do it very often. Anyway, on to the next excitement. We've got the boxes ready, cleaned up and burnt off, as you've just seen. And now we're going to have to slap them with a bit of paint. So I'm thinking that'll be the next thing we do. On with the paintbrush. Yay! I'm sorry, Leaproy. There was a vote, and you came up short, lad. The public have spoken, and they've decided that you have to be torched. But I don't think it's very fair, but anyway, you know me. I'm all for this whole business that, you know, what do they call that? This is democracy, and the vote fell against you. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know, I'm going to have to face him towards you. I don't think I could do it when he's looking at me. Might be too much. I think, he's even got a little love heart letter. Look at that. Oh, look at that. It's a postman frog. With his little love letter and a little smile. Could you be so mean? Maybe we should have had a picture of him before the vote was taken.